8. Let's focus on other news now. Botswana's High Court has unanimously ruled to decriminalise homosexuality. The colonial-era law against homosexuality was imposed in 1965. Under that legislation, anyone engaging in consensual gay sex could face up to 7 years in prison. Well, from some reaction to this landmark Botswana ruling, we're joined in the studio by human rights lawyer and gender activist Letlhogonolo Mokgoroane. Letlhogonolo, good morning. Thank you very much for your time. Let's just get your reaction to this development in Botswana.
Well, I cried yesterday because a lot of us as activists were literally scrolling on social media, like waiting for activists in Botswana to give us the decision. And, you know, at some point we all tweeted, like, do we call it now? Like, they haven't said it, but do we call it? And when it happened, we were all so ecstatic because I think, like, it really allows us to move closer to having full ownership and citizenships in African queer people in South Africa.
And your fellow activists on the ground in Botswana, what has been their response? Can you share that with us?
So they have been very happy, but we all share the same sentiments that this is a start. So this is the first step. It's not full equality for queer people in Botswana, but decriminalization allows us to start accessing healthcare, to start accessing education, to ensure that hate crimes are also regulated and criminalized.
Okay, I'm just going to refer to a statement that the judge made, Judge Elburu, said sexual orientation is human. It's not a question of fashion. The question of private morality should not be the concerns of the law.
Yes. That's true. I definitely agree with it. I think he made even some wonderful other statements, right? One of the statements he made was homosexuality is not un-African, you know, which is really important because a lot of the sort of opposition has been that it's this colonial import. But what is the colonial import is actually the law that criminalizes same-sex consensual conduct.
Yeah, now on the continent itself, I mean, it's like Botswana now is taking the next step, and you said this decision is just a first step towards several others. When you look at this Botswana decision, are you hoping that other African countries where being homosexual is still a crime would follow suit?
I hope so. I hope that they will even use the Botswana judgment because it's very rich in order for them to see like why we're still holding on to these colonial laws and effectively decriminalize same-sex consensual conduct.
Okay, but societal-wise, what do you expect to be happening now in Botswana? The law is one thing, and you know there are some people in society who might hold a different view for various reasons. How do you see this Botswana thing going forward?
I think it's the same with what happened in 1998 in South Africa, you know. What happened after we also decriminalized sodomy is that law became a catalyst for social change. So I think there's something about people being told not to do something and they don't do it. You know, there are going to be outliers who are still going to be homophobic, but I think largely it's going to change the sentiments around and make it safer for queer people to exist in Botswana.
Yeah. Now, we've battled, I mean, for a long time with this issue of what people do in private, what about sexuality and stuff, and the criminalization of it, because it really is discriminatory, no matter how you look at it. Now, Botswana is known as a conservative kind of country, small population. Does this, for you as an activist, mean that people must really understand and appreciate the need to embrace all of us, no matter our sexual orientation?
I think it's really...
Beyond the law, I'm talking beyond the law.
I think it's important. I mean, when you see there's some reactions from religious leaders in Botswana who are also welcoming the decision. So you're seeing that it's not only a law thing, but it's also like we are God's people. You know, if we want to be religious, we are God's people. But if we're talking about democratic countries, we're saying we don't care about religion per se because you can police yourself. But let's allow people to be who they are.
Yeah. So this scrapping of decriminalization rather of homosexuality in Botswana is like a victory of sorts in terms of campaigning for equal rights for everybody.
It's definitely a start because we're no longer going to be treated as criminals, and once we're not treated as criminals, it's easy for us to access the rights that heterosexual people access so freely every day.
Yeah. What would you advise your Botswana fellow activists, your peers, to focus on now that this court decision has been...
I mean, Botswana is a great country, and the activism in Botswana has been really wonderful. You know, they've been some of the people who've allowed for LGBTI organizations to go there to register in Botswana and for trans people to be able to be recognized legally. So they've been doing quite well. I think the next step move might be if Botswana wants to advocate for same-sex marriage to go that route, because it seems it's the trajectory. But access to healthcare, access to education and employment will be fine.
So it's like on the right track in your view.